So, there was something that popped up on Twitter the last, well, it was yesterday actually. But I just seen it in the last 6, 7 hours. Anyways, it was a whole thing about like early access and how companies treat early access. There was a tweet that was made by somebody who is pretty well known. And to actually piggyback off from the tweet, and actually, this is going to be made into a Let's Talk video and everything. So, um, which the tweet was actually from Sphere Hunter. Also talked about in video form before, but I wanted to bring it up. I'm like, if any chance I get to bring up this topic of we need better ways of getting early access codes out to people that are not just like to have 100,000 subscribers or whatever on YouTube and Twitch and everything, but people that are just up and coming. Um, so like what people were given her shit for, I don't like it's whatever. But here we are. So this is the tweet that I'm talking about. So the industry is terrible at providing review codes to content creators. It always feels like these companies play favorites with who gets their game early. Like I'd love to have a Callisto Protocol review out for release, but no, radio silence, and it's not just me this happens to either. It goes on to say every single video game PR company just assumes you're a streamer and you want a code 3 hours before release, despite showing them you're a YouTuber who focuses on videos. Needless to say, my Callisto review will be happening later. Sorry about that, babe. And then I guess people are giving her shit or something for saying this, which is like, no, I wholeheartedly agree on all this stuff. And I'm in this same boat of like, I'm not making a review video, but I like to make launch night videos, and to have an early copy of the game to where I could get maybe the, like the opening title scene there, or just to get like maybe a little bit of atmosphere from the opening title. So if there's any like woo or whatever, like a ship hum or something like that, that goes a long ways in being able to make a really cool launch night video. Also, it would help out if I did want to make, something of a let's talk video on it, and put my thoughts out there for the developers to just make the product even better. That's my whole thing. I know there's a lot of people that get early copies of codes though, which we'll go into this, and they love to try and sell them on like eBay and stuff. I have some thoughts on that stuff too. So I get, do you want to call me entitled bitch baby? My tweets aren't just about me. All content creators, I don't have a problem. I don't have problems paying for games. A smaller channel might. Getting to cover a game early for a small channel, extremely helpful for growing the platform, which is super true. This tweet right here, oh my goodness, I could not agree more. So if you want to see content creators grow bigger, these companies need to start working with smaller channels to actually help us grow. Because if we can put, I mean, right now it is a race basically. Like you have to, the position that I'm in, being a smaller content creator. Even though I've been doing this for like 10 years on YouTube on multiple different channels, that's the reason why I'm still considered a small channel. And on YouTube, on Twitch, I've been doing it for 5 years, and I've had viewership come and then they've gone, and it's just people have lives and stuff comes up and they lose internet connections and this and that and the other thing. But for me, in my experience, I have to first of all get the cash together to get the game, get it pre-ordered, get it preloaded onto the console. At midnight, I try and go live. I try and have a really cool video just to, and really, it's to hype myself up to stream for that. That's the reason why launch nights are so much more like hyped up and exciting, because I end up making a video where it's just like a fan made trailer. Basically, I'm gonna do the same thing for Callisto Protocol also. And sometimes I do a little bit acting in it. Sometimes it's just trailers. Sometimes I like to make a really cool music video with the gameplay trailers and everything. Nothing spoilery. I'm huge against spoilers. I would think if the companies want to work with anyone, it's me. I'm huge against spoilers. I want to promote and hype up the thing that I'm excited about. Like if it's a Resident Evil or whatever, the case may be. I've done a lot of Resident Evil videos. That's why I bring that one up. But anything like a GTA 6 or even Starfield, I'm semi hyped up for that one, even though I'm very cautiously optimistic on whether or not it's going to come out really good. The next Mass Effect game, BioWare, if you're out there listening, my God, I'm your biggest fanboy. um, but yes, getting to cover a game early for smaller channels is extremely helpful for growing the platform. So within the first 24 hours, basically, I have to rush. So we do the most likely 4-hour live stream, a launch night stream, and then that's what you guys see. And then on my side, I got to rush to get at least the first 2 hours up on the YouTube as quick as possible before everyone else. It's like a first come, first serve on, because after the first 24 to 48 hours, no one gives a shit. If it's a big game like God of War, nobody's going to watch it, although also because it's a big game and everybody wants to play it. So there are certain circumstances. Callisto Protocol, I feel like, might be kind of in the middle of it, because there's probably a lot of people who are like, is this as good as what Dead Space was? So this just goes for Callisto Protocol. If you think about it, is it going to be as good as Dead Space was? Can it be better than Dead Space was? And if I didn't care for Dead Space, am I going to care to actually check this out? So that's three big, viewership possibilities right there that people are going to be tuning in Callisto Protocol videos for. The first 2 hours of gameplay is incredibly important, because then you can end up seeing whether or not you really vibe with the whole feel of the game and you want to go through and spend more time in it. That's just the way it is. It's a 12-hour game, 20-hour game, whatever the hell the case may be. Hopefully it's a 20 to 30-hour game, so we get a big, long, giant story out of it. There's actually one tweet in this. So Larry Kupperman, I'm not quite sure. Night Dive Studios. Okay. What is up with this guy? But he says, I used to hand out keys myself to anyone who asked. MVG will back me up on that. Then I found keys being resold, and that ended that. I don't have a solution, but just wanted to point out that there is a problem. And yeah, so MVG, Modern Vintage Gamer, I do believe is, yes, Modern Vintage Gamer. Carbon Engine lead game developer. So this is, again, another developer. Yep, this is a fact. But for what it's worth, I'd rather watch a review from someone who is a career, not under heavy embargo restrictions to finish and review a game. So there is two different types of reviewers out there. There's like the IGN, Game Informer, GameSpot, Game Rank, I think, is another one. They do all the, okay, we get the game a week early. We have to go through and, play it through all the way, hopefully, or at least get at least 4 hours in. Alana Pierce talks a lot about this because she was in the IGN offices reviewing a lot of games. Just recently, we've seen and when it comes to the reviewers underneath embargo restrictions to finish a game or review it, it can go one of two ways. Either they're going to absolutely love it or they're absolutely going to hate it. We just seen this, God of War got perfect ratings. Most everybody grew up with God of War, in one capacity or another. The ones that are reviewing it anyways. And then Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's campaign gets review bombed by all the websites saying it's trash, but the user fan feedback is actually, really good. It's excellent. Again, so that's where MVG is coming from, which I totally get that. I totally agree with it. Yes, if somebody's underneath embargo and is trying like hell to finish a game very quickly. So you heard me say it when I was running through God of War. I'm like, okay, I'm going to just run straight to the main story. Basically, I was doing what the reviewers try and do a week before the game comes out. Run straight to the main story, so no spoilers. So I don't accidentally catch something on social media of a spoiler. Thank God I did, because probably 24 hours after I finished the game, there was 2 main spoilers I saw on Twitter. I'm like, woo, that shouldn't be around just yet. Now, companies are trying to fix this with doing different stuff with, so like Street Fighter 6, the beta for Street Fighter 6 had the closed beta tests. There is an application process that you went through, that you signed up, and you did the whole deal for that. The problem is, a lot of the Street Fighter 6 beta codes, they ended up on eBay. So a lot of people that they already had very few codes that went out for the Street Fighter 6 beta, but then on top of that, the ones that did get out there, they ended up on eBay for $500-600. Some people were even selling them for almost $1,200 just to get into a damn beta. That's ridiculous. And that is one of those things where Capcom, I guarantee, is like, well, you guys ain't supposed to be selling them. You're supposed to be playing, playing the game. You're supposed to be giving us feedback on whether or not servers are working, whether or not game mechanics are working, whether or not, how hard or easy is the game to get into. And for me, that was a giant missed opportunity for my channel. I would have loved. I've been doing Street Fighter 5 content ever since it came out. I was into betas and everything else. That was like that was part of the 10 years being on YouTube was Street Fighter 5. That launched me into also doing MKX stuff and MK11 stuff and all these different fighting games I do now. Was Street Fighter 5. And so missing out on Street Fighter 6, that was like a whole chunk of my channel that I missed out on. Like I missed out on the beta because they didn't select me for a code. Other people that didn't get selected for a code, they hit up the people that they know that work at Capcom. They got codes. They were streaming it and making videos of it. Basically, any content that I would have made for Street Fighter 6 would have been their videos that I'm just, rehashing information over top of. I didn't want to do that, so that's why I didn't cover Street Fighter 6. Not that I don't like it. I can't wait for Street Fighter 6 to come out. I just had no reason to cover it at all because everything that was already being shown off, it's either people were playing it live in person at events, which it was like 4 different events that everybody got to check it out and everything. There was a lot of good word going around it. And then the 5th event was like the beta pretty much. And I got snubbed on that too. So it's like, fuck. So where where Capcom is concerned, they would be sitting there saying the creators program, go and sign up for the creators program. And I also tried that. I tried to do it. They said I was too small of a channel, which I get the reason why they're saying, well, your channel's too small, because when it comes to this, again, it's like a big giant PR, press kits and everything that they end up sending out. Which is like, okay, I get it. People get like, shirts and lanyards and, this, that, and yeah, like a lighting display and everything. Hey, I got that mixer. I'm using that mixer right now. So I see the reason why it's like, okay, you have to be a little bit bigger of a channel to be able to get into this. It seems like, okay, November 23rd, 21st, 24th. So there was a push that was January 4th was when they first put it. Yeah. So this was like a year ago. I did try and sign up for it. And you have this right here. Like, okay, Residents of Evil was not accepted into the Capcom Creators Program. We have always been dedicated to Resident Evil. I'm confused and disappointed. And that's also where that's also where I was at too. I'm like, yeah, I've done a lot of Capcom stuff, but my channel's not big enough, so I can't. So I got rejected. They were like, but the email was very nice, so they were just like, yeah, just try again when you get your numbers up a little bit more. I'm like, okay, but that's the point of this whole thing is let me into this and let me like show off the creators program. I also tried the I tried the 2K Next Makers one. They said I was too small for that one too. I'm like, well, bring me into this stuff and I can grow my channel. And that's like, again, that's kind of just the point of this Let's Talk is just like, come on. Like if you review a channel, like how big does the channel have to be for these companies that want to try and start working with us? If we're already putting in, like a year's worth of work, 5 years worth of work, 10 years worth of work, and we just can't quite get our foot in in the door of like, oh, everybody knows our name to come and check out our content for this, that, or this. The other thing is too, like I'm a variety streamer. I'm a variety content creator. I make a little bit of everything on my channel. I just promote everything that I am excited about. And like Game Awards, I can't wait for that because it's going to be one of those cool ass things where we see a little bit of everything, and that's exactly my jam. I like to see retro stuff. I like to see the newest stuff, the AAA. If an indie game is really, really cool, we're actually going to play an indie game today on stream that I was hearing some good stuff about. Finally got my hands on it, so we're going to check that out. But again, like so I have had opportunities to actually play games early, and it's not like I've always been snuffed on this stuff, but it's like the big companies Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yes. So we did have this game, which is called 9 to 5. Unfortunately, it's getting shut down. The servers are all getting shut down. Not quite sure what it is. I don't know if it's funding related or if it's, whatever the case may be. But 9 to 5 was one that it was a 3v3v3 first person shooters, very much like Rainbow Six Siege. I did play test it live on stream and everything because they gave us permission to do it. It was cool. I had a good time with it. I would love to do more stuff like this in the future. The problem is very few companies, shout out to everyone that was working on 9 to 5. You gave a little content creator like me the go ahead to actually be able to do some stuff with this. It was going to be a free to play game too, which was going to be really cool, but unfortunately it got shut down. Again, I would love to see. I would just love to see these companies, reach out and work with smaller creators. Because as of right now, put on your website, like YouTube and Twitch, they put on their website of like, if you want to get into monetization using Twitch and YouTube, you have a certain, requirement status that you go through. Let me know what those numbers are somewheres, is it 1,000 subs on YouTube? Do I have to get like 300, 400 people watching daily on Twitch? Like, what's the stats? What's the requirements? What's the recommended stats to be able to get into these programs? I would love to know that information. We don't have it posted anywhere. So this is actually a really, really cool thing that, where somebody like Susie is actually saying, she's coming out and is like, oh, Sphere Hunter is making a case in point about, these companies giving out review codes to smaller creators to try and help everyone grow. And I think that's one of the biggest, best things that we could actually see from content creators, is, helping everyone grow. And for the most part, content creators are really good about that stuff. I will say, like, if you get a shout out from somebody, hopefully, it translates into some eyes getting on your content. And again, big shout out to anybody who helps out the smaller content creators too. But yeah, I don't know I've already made a video about this of like what I would like to see. And I think everybody just kind of dismissed it because it's like, well, you already have the creator programs. It's like, well, yes, but what's the requirement? Like I said, we don't know what the hell the numbers are. What are they looking? It could just be, all it takes is one person sitting in the office that day going, nope, we don't need any more people, and 100 people get declined, or just somebody having a bad day in the office, or somebody having a very good day, and then you get selected for it. The other one too is a major part of it is I see a lot of people complaining and just yelling at the PR teams, and I think I'm still in the boat of like, who do you get in contact with to, there's definitely like certain people that work at each publisher or developer studio, I guess the developer studios that make each game, like a Capcom publishing department person or whatever, or a 2K publishing department person, the EA publishing department person, PR person, I should say. You get a hold of them to get that early access code. Because again, like I know I see it all the time with the bigger streamers. They just know people from over the years that people are working at those companies now, and they're just like, they just give a phone call up and they're like, hey, you guys got any extra codes that I could get? And they get like 2 or 3 of them. Some people also do it for, like giveaways and stuff on their stream and everything. And I've also seen the process. No Clip Documentaries actually went through and they were showing the process of getting Steam codes. So if you're an indie developer giving out Steam codes, they were showing like, this is how they end up doing it on Steam, which was very interesting because literally all it is just the Steam engine just spits out a randomly generated code, and you can give that, you can use for a giveaway, you can use it to give it to a friend, whatever. I'm thinking it's the same way for companies also. They randomly generate a sheet of them. I mean, how many times have we seen the sheets be posted up and it's just like, here's a code for this thing, we're giving away 10 copies of the game or whatever. So to end out the Let's Talk, again, I would just like I may end up making this video again, next year or something, until until companies start working a little bit easier, or at least give us like I said, the requirements of what are the companies looking for. I think that's probably the biggest thing in my brain right now is like, how big does my channel need to be able to get in touch with these companies, be like, hey, could I get either early access code? Because you see a lot of people playing games early, and this is to go back to another point I made in a previous video too. You see people streaming a game early, and it totally screws up for anybody who has to wait for it to, so if somebody's playing it 24 hours early, and then you have, so much more spoilers that can happen in the chat because people have already seen the early access, versus what you have to wait for midnight for the game to unlock. Or you'll have people like when Mass Effect Legendary Edition came out, like I had so many, it was like thousands of views on my YouTube video for that. I didn't get an early access code. Some other people did. And then when I went to go stream it, it's like everybody was just kind of like, yeah, well, I've seen this. I know what it is. It's like, I'm super excited about it though. So, again, I don't know what the system could be. Maybe a pre-register thing or something, and then they go through and they check your channel for, pre-register for an early access copy code thing. What I will say is with 2K, or not 2K, EA, sorry, with what EA is doing right now with the, to pay for early access to like Need for Speed Unbound, I could play Need for Speed Unbound right now if I just sign up for EA Play. You get the early access thing. I do like that. Yes, it's a paywall to get early access for a game, but everybody's on equal grounds right there. If you want to check it out, you can by just paying for a little bit of it's like $5 to get early access for it. Okay, I'm not against that. Everybody gets a chance if they really want it. Just getting randomly selected though, it feels like an RNG system, just kind of screwing you over. That's one of those, which it most likely is too. Like you're putting your email address into an RNG system, and it's just like, okay, give that person's email address a code. A lot of times that ends up happening. Again, also I've had games I've played recently that was underneath NDA that I can't talk about also, and yeah, it's really cool when you get to be able to check stuff out, but I just feel like bigger companies, like, yeah, every single video game PR company just assumes you're a streamer, and and I feel like the bigger companies could really still do a better job at it.